So, what would you do if, as a DoorDash driver, you go to deliver an order, it's a leave at door, but you look at it, the door itself, and you're like, nope, not happening. And because it is like a serious, dangerous condition. Yes, this happened to me last night, and we will get into details in a little bit. But do you still try to make the delivery, knowing you can put yourself into harm's way, possibly get hurt? Do you contact support, cancel? So many questions. But what's the answer? Well, one solution will get you deactivated, and that one you should never do. Okay, so last night I had, it seemed like a pretty normal order. And granted, it was dark outside. It was probably about 8:30, 9ish. Get up to this house, and it's completely pitch black. Like, no house on lights on in the house, no lights on for the outside. And then honestly, it looked like, it's horrible to say, it looked like I was pulling up to a cemetery, because the only thing I saw pulling up were like these big, huge stones, and they almost look like headstones. And I'm like, did GPS bring me to the wrong place again? And I'm like, oh no, it's a house. Supposedly, and it's fine, this house was redoing their sidewalk leading up to their stairs, and their stairs were pretty steep, but everything was completely dug up. There were literally big, huge boulders everywhere. The concrete that they, I guess, were digging up was still sticking up all over the place, so you couldn't use the walkway. And then when you got to going up the stairs, there was no stairs. I don't know how, like, there were stairs, but between the bottom step and the ground was like literally, I would say like 3 feet, because it was all dug up. And they wanted me to leave that door. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, first of all, I'm a short little thing. There's no way my legs would be able to climb that first step to get up the stairs. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, I'll be honest, like, I was a little bitter, because you have enough nerve to not put any lights on in your home. You have enough nerve not to leave your porch light on. But now I'm navigating through concrete barriers, if you want to call it. Like, it's almost like a landmine trying to get to this customer's house. And then when I get there, like, I can't even go up the stairs to make the delivery. It was so whacked. So I'm thinking, I'm like, well, sorry, you're not going to get it at your door. And I put it on the first step because that's what I could reach without harming myself. Now, I've been doing DoorDash for over 7 years, over 18,000 deliveries, and I've seen my fair share of some wacky houses out there, to say the very least. And I've even fallen and tripped before doing deliveries. So I'm always super cautious when it comes to stuff like this. And the reason why I am talking to you today is because, what do you do if you find yourself having to do a delivery but you don't feel safe, or you don't feel as though it's safe for you to proceed with the delivery? And we're going to get into the solutions behind this, because it does happen. And we're coming into, in a couple of weeks, daylight savings, where it's going to be darker longer, and we're going to be doing a lot more deliveries at night, where you can't see some of these trip hazards. We can't see some of the stuff. Snow is a whole different animal altogether. But if it is truly unsafe, what do you do? So before we begin on exactly what to do if you find yourself in some of these positions, have you ever had something like this happen to you? Have you ever had to go through support? Have you ever had to not deliver an order because you didn't feel safe doing it? Go ahead, let me know your stories in the comments section. So in my case, I didn't feel the need to call support. I literally put it on the most safest place I could find that wasn't under construction. I left it there, and I took tons of pictures. Even I took a picture for myself to cover my butt just in case the customer was upset that I left it on their front step. Which, if they did that, we would have a whole nother discussion with support altogether. So for me, I feel like it was simple. For me, it was more of a safety issue and making sure that I didn't get hurt delivering, because that would lead to a whole different situation altogether. Never do something that is going to harm you in any way. It's going to make you trip, fall. Like, get rid of those hazards and do the best you can during delivery, kind of like I did, but always take pictures to cover your butt. Next thing is if you feel unsafe and it is more of a safety issue because you have like a gut feeling, or you're in a neighborhood that you're like, no, I shouldn't deliver this, guys, always contact support and partner with them, especially if you feel like you can't deliver it. They will tell you how to proceed. They will tell you exactly what to do. If it is really that bad, they can also take the customer off your account so you never deliver to them ever again. Like, this is so important that you contact support so you have somebody in your corner and it is documented, and they'll tell you whether to cancel an order, proceed with caution, stay on the phone, whatever your comfort level is. But I know we hate talking to support and we avoid them at all costs because it costs you time. But in this case, it is well worth calling to make sure that your butt is covered, make sure that you're safe, and they will tell you exactly what to do step by step. Never cancel an order on your own. Why? Because you can get deactivated. Once you have the order in your possession, you own it. If you decide to not deliver it and cancel, it could be labeled as fraud, and then the customer can accuse you of stealing their order. Never cancel on your own. You will be deactivated. That's why it's super important. Even if you feel unsafe, even if you feel like you're in the right, always partner with support and have them cancel it so you do not get affected whatsoever and it doesn't reach you or your account. Protect yourself. Take tons of pictures. I can't tell you how many times over the years pictures have saved so many contract violations, not for me, but for other dashers, deactivations, or if they had been deactivated, a picture has gotten them reactivated. But never do something on your own. Never cancel on your own, because it can look one way even though you meant it to be a completely different scenario. So that was my wacky story from last night. Let me also know how much you hate delivering to houses that do not have porch lights on. Have you ever fallen or tripped because of that as well? We have to be careful out there when we're delivering at all times. Your safety, your health, everything is more important than tripping, falling, hurting yourself, or putting yourself in harm's way. Sometimes part of delivering at night is depending on your GPS. There are many times I rely on that so much to make sure I do every delivery correct. Well, I did a video recently on the best GPS apps to use while you're dashing. You're going to want to check this video out next, and I'll see you over there.